All right, I'm going to try to record this because we probably don't got to worry about this guy. This is one that tempered off. It fell over. And I'm trying to keep it alive, but I don't know how well I'm doing. So when you're looking at transplanting your seedlings, a lot of people get really scared. They don't want to touch them. They think their roots are too fragile. But believe it or not, they can survive a good amount of stress. What I like to do is have either some type of poking device or something that I can make a hole in each of these before I'm going to transplant them. So that way they're ready. You know, I can push it down a little bit more. I just got to see how big the roots are. But right now I'm doing about a ½ inch or maybe a full inch hole in the middle of the opening. And then literally all you got to do is get a hold of the base of the plant that you want right here and just pull it straight up. That's it. That's all it takes. You want to be careful not to damage the roots too much, but they're pretty hardy. And then all you do is just make some space. You know, try to get all the roots in there and push down a little bit and then pack it around. And then water it in. And that seedling will come back to that seedling will be fine. Okay. I know a lot of people thin them still. They would rather thin their crop than do what I'm doing and transplant. But I don't want to waste the seeds personally. And you can be pretty forceful with these. I mean, you're not gonna damage the roots in most cases. And tomatoes are really nice so that even if you do bury them deep, they can grow more roots along those little hairs on the stem. But I wanted to test to see how they performed. You know, the ones that were the biggest and strongest in the plant, which I probably just messed up their roots a little bit by pulling these other ones out. But I also wanted to make sure that I eat a lot of tomatoes. I like to make salsa. I make a mean marinara sauce. So for me, in a food year, potatoes and tomatoes make up a large amount of what I eat. Onions too. I got a couple onion sets I got to plant later on. But yeah, as long as you try to keep the plant upright, keep the leaves out of the water, and just firmer in around the stem, don't worry if it's leaning over a little bit. It might just be sagging because it's like it doesn't have a root hold yet. You know, so if you push down a little bit more around it, you can perk it up. But it'll reestablish its roots once you water it in. Okay. But I didn't want to take the time to go through and grow more tomatoes. I wanted to just pull the ones like this one had 4 seeds harvest, you know. So if I can save them and turn them into a whole other tomato plant, then I might have enough tomatoes to last me the whole year, you know. And I'm gonna can them. I'm gonna make my own sauce. I'm gonna do a bunch of stuff to try to learn to preserve. And I'm gonna bring y'all with me. We all in this together. But yeah, you just at the base of it, you pull them out, and then you tuck them back in. You know, you make sure your hole is open. You put the seedling in enough to keep the leaves out, and then you pack it in. Even with somebody with very limited use of his hands, I can do this. So the biggest thing is just don't be so scared about them. Now I'm not labeling any of these right now because I know these are all Roma tomatoes. I do have a couple Serrano peppers I'm going to transplant now that they've got their true leaves on, but I'm not. I'll put a tag on those because I don't know. The peppers all look very similar. I can tell the leaves of the tomatoes from the peppers, but the bell peppers, serranos, jalapenos, they all look the same right now at this stage. So, and this is a little baby, so I don't even think he's going to grow up to be anything big, but we're going to test it. All right, so the last 3 I believe are Serrano peppers. Yeah. And this one has 3 right side by side. So I generally like to leave the one in the middle, but you got to get right at the base of the plant and then pull straight up as best as you can. Now don't be too upset if you mess up any of the roots of the other ones, because you can you can fix it, okay? I'm gonna put that hole in there, I'm gonna stick that in there, and then I'm gonna pack it in. And another plant. But I also don't want to wait. I think I can heal these, you know, I can help them grow stronger with the right nutrition faster than I can possibly grow another one from seed. Now, maybe I'll test that. I don't know. This is all my first year growing to feed myself. I grew a little bit of food last year and it was great. It helped our grocery bill. But I really want to try to supplement a lot of our food with stuff I can grow. That one might not. These are both really small. Pull that one out. That was the bigger of the two. But yeah, just like that, we just transplanted 9 of these. And then what I'm gonna do is just go back in and water them just slightly. You know, I want to keep the leaves out of the water. And this is just plain, you know, room temperature water. Normally you'll soak your soil before you do this. I did not. I just poured it out. So I have to be more cautious in the way that I apply it, you know, because otherwise it takes a minute for it to absorb. This is really soft potting soil, so you'll see it compact. And water will come out of the bottom of this too. I just generally want to keep, I want the roots to get water, but I don't want too much, I don't want water on the leaves, especially not in the sun, because that's how you can burn them. But yeah, just, so in the future, if you want to do this for yourself, just water in your soil really good before you do that, and then you can save yourself this step. I'm just being extra because I wanted to get this video in before the storm hit. I think we're supposed to get a rainstorm here in a little bit.